Okay, new topic today. We are talking about having an open mind, or actually listening to listen, whatever you want to call it. I would say people need to be listening more often. There's a cliche on TikTok about how, you are not listening to listen, you're listening to respond, or something like that. And it's usually used as more of like a bludgeon against probably men most of the time. And I will say there is something to husbands or boyfriends not listening as well. And it's not, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just a fact of life that's really hard to get over. Men are just not as good at listening as women are in a lot of ways. And I can tell you some random fact that I heard on a SciShow video from like 10 years ago, but what did my wife say yesterday? I don't know. What did I say yesterday? I don't know. In a lot of ways, but neither here nor there. So essentially, having an open mind can actually give you a good few benefits. I don't know. I'm kind of mixing two concepts because having an open mind and listening are not exactly the same, but I'll go through why they're both kind of hand in hand and both helpful. So having an open mind can actually make you more likable, more amenable to other people. They'll notice that you actually listen to and respond to what they're saying, and they'll want to go back to you more often. Now, being likable in and of itself is not necessarily the goal. It's nice, but being more liked can help you to evangelize to more people. You can actually spread the gospel more easily if somebody already likes to hear what you have to say. Partially it's because you hear and like to hear what they want to say. People, they want to be heard. It's true. People want to know that what they are thinking, their personal experience matters, not just to themselves, but to someone else as well. And it's important that we all know that. Because in the Bible, Jesus talks plenty about going and seeing the lowliest of us and hearing out their complaints, their issues. He was never going to, I wouldn't say castles, they didn't really have castles, but they were never going to palaces or, just the nicest places and talking to the richest people and so on and so forth. Jesus and the apostles were always, with the real lowest of the low, the tax collectors. So, we should really be going to the IRS and talking to them too, because I'm sure they have a really hard time being on the bottom of the totem pole. Jokes aside, but that would probably be reason too, is because that is what Jesus did, and we should have wanted to follow the Bible. We should be hearing out everybody, because it is important. People, obviously, the Bible thinks that it is important that people should be heard. Maybe not all the time, but everybody should be heard at some point, felt appreciated. And you can't really appreciate somebody if you aren't actually listening to what they're saying. Another example is that having an open mind, being able to listen and having that open mind can actually benefit yourself in other ways. You can have ideas from people that you would never expect. Sometimes good ideas come from people that have really no idea about what they're talking about, for the most part. But because they have a fresh, untainted perspective, they can actually make very poignant observations. Poignant, however you pronounce it. That someone who's experienced and already, waist deep in whatever it is you're talking about, they may not realize or notice. We should always be keeping that in mind. And another way in that having an open mind and listening can really help is that we don't want to be passive and just completely open to everything and having your mind changed every time. But it can actually make your arguments against things stronger if you understand what the other side genuinely believes. It's just, and there are honestly even more benefits that I'm failing to describe right now, partially because I'm at a four-way stop and just waiting for the other people to decide to go. But also, it's just, I think it's undervalued in society. A lot of people are always thinking about how something can relate to themselves. That probably leads into my next one. It can help you to stay out of sin when you are always thinking about how other people are relating to yourself. Are you not going into your pride, or possibly envy or whatever else, whatever else is on your mind first and foremost? Because you are actually trying to steer the conversation in a way that is selfish. And you shouldn't be doing that. People deserve to be heard properly. It's just good for everybody. I mean, this is a pretty simple PSA, but I think we should all be practicing it more often. I need to practice it more often. I really suck at it. I need to start figuring out how to listen to my wife better. Number one probably starts with dropping the phone. Unfortunate. But, yep. Okay, everybody out there, get to it. Get to working.